So today we're going to be doing 8-4, which is integers in the coordinate plane. So you may remember from a few chapters ago, we talked about the coordinate plane and how to graph. So right here in the center at 0, 0, that is called the origin. Okay, you're going to notice, remember a baby can crawl, so they can go left and right before they can walk up and down. So you're going to move 3 over and 0 up and down, and you can get this point. Okay, if I can crawl over 1 and go up 1, 2, you'll get to this point. Well, they want to know how many will you have to move over and up to get to A, over and down to get to B, and over and down to get to C. Today we're going to be talking about a few things, and one of them is graphing, but then also reflections. So if you think about a mirror, okay, if I had a mirror right here on this line, and on one side I have A and the other side C, you're going to notice that A and C are the same distance from each other from the x-axis.
You can have a horizontal number line, and you can have a vertical number line. Together, the two number lines form a coordinate plane. The horizontal number line is called the x-axis. The vertical number line is called the y-axis. The point where the two number lines intersect is the origin. The axes divide the coordinate plane into 4 regions, called quadrants. The quadrants are named in a counterclockwise direction. The region above the x-axis and to the right of the y-axis is quadrant 1. The region above the x-axis and to the left of the y-axis is quadrant 2. The region below the x-axis and to the left of the y-axis is quadrant 3. The region below the x-axis and to the right of the y-axis is quadrant 4. The points on the axes do not lie in any of the quadrants. Just like you can locate points on a number line, you can locate points in the coordinate plane. An ordered pair is a pair of numbers that describe the location of a point in the coordinate plane. The x-coordinate tells the position along the x-axis. The y-coordinate tells the position along the y-axis.
On to part 1.
You can graph points if you know their coordinates. Look at the coordinates x, y. The x-coordinate tells you how far to move right or left from the origin. When the x-coordinate is positive, move right from the origin. When the x-coordinate is negative, move left from the origin. The y-coordinate tells you how far to move up or down from the x-axis. When the y-coordinate is positive, move up from the x-axis. When the y-coordinate is negative, move down from the x-axis. Graph the point A, -2, +1. Start at the origin. The x-coordinate is -2. Move 2 units to the left from the origin. The y-coordinate is +1. Move 1 unit up from the x-axis.
So remember, a baby can crawl, so they can go left to right before they can walk up and down. So they want us to plot each point on the coordinate plane. Identify the quadrant. So let's go ahead and start with A. Well, I know A is 3, 4. So if I start at my origin, 0, 0, and I go over 3 and up 4, I'll have a dot right here. And that will be A. Now it's important to label your points if they tell you a number or a letter. Okay, well I know that this is in quadrant number 1. Now they want us to do B. So I'm going to go over, they can crawl to -8, and then they're going to walk down to B. C is -6, +5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71, 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114, 115, 116, 1 D is at 1, -7. And if you want to try E by yourself, go ahead and pause this, okay, and find E. I know E is at 0, left and right, and 2, up and down. So it'll be on the y-axis. This is not in a quadrant. So A is in quadrant 1, C is in quadrant 2, B is in quadrant 3, and D is in quadrant 4. They want you to go ahead on your own, and you got it. They want you to figure out what point is located at 3, -2. So go ahead and circle your answer if you think it's A, B, C, or D. Which point is at 3, -2? When you're done, go ahead and go on to part 2 with me.
I am X. He is Y.
We're an ordered pair.
Wherever I go,
I'm always there.
when I'm greater than 0,
And so am I.
to quadrant 1,
You'll see us fly.
when I'm less than 0,
But I'm more.
in quadrant 2,
You'll find our door.
when I'm less than 0,
And same for me.
off we go.
To quadrant 3.
When I am greater than 0,
But I am not.
to quadrant 4,
We quickly trot.
I am X. He is Y.
We're an ordered pair.
Wherever I go,
I'm always there.
So what they basically just did for you guys, and go ahead and put this in your notes, is they said that anytime you have an ordered pair, you can know which quadrant they'll be on based on if the numbers in the the numbers in the coordinate plane are positive or negative. So say they give you a positive X and a positive Y. An example might be 3, 2. You know it'll go in quadrant 1. Okay, if X is negative and Y is positive, so maybe -8, +1, it'll go in quadrant 2. Okay, now if you have two negative numbers, so a negative and a negative in your ordered pair, maybe a -1 and a -3, it'll be down here in quadrant 3. If you have a -1 and a +2, sorry, got that backwards, a +2 and a +1 and a -2, or a positive negative, it'll go down here in quadrant 4. My favorite thing to do while looking at this is to notice that in quadrant 1 and quadrant 3, we have opposites. This is a positive, this is a negative, where in these two coordinates, we have opposites also. Quadrant 2 and quadrant 4 have opposites, a negative, a positive, and a positive and a negative. So they want us to drag each point to the quadrant where it lies. Now, if you're anything like me, you might need a visual. So if this is my coordinate plane, we just said that these two would be positive and these two would be negative. Okay, then up here we would have a negative and a positive, and down here would be a positive and a negative. So while looking at this, if I have a positive and then a negative number, that's going to go in quadrant 1, 2, 3, 4, because that's a positive and a negative. So quadrant 4 it is. For this one, I have +2, -5. So if you want, go ahead and press pause and drag it in which quadrant you think it needs to go, or write it down. A positive and then a negative. Well, positive, positive, negative, positive, negative, negative, positive, negative goes to quadrant 4. 2 negative. So when I look on here, I have positive, positive, and the opposite of that is negative, negative. So that must go in quadrant 3. This one, a negative and a positive. This is quadrant 1, quadrant 2, 3, 4. So it must go in quadrant 2. A negative and a positive again, quadrant 2. Negative, negative, quadrant 3. Positive, positive, quadrant 1. Positive, negative, quadrant 4. Positive, positive goes in 2. And a negative positive will go in quadrant number 2. Go ahead and copy these down. Okay. If you have questions, go ahead and put a star up here and come talk to me tomorrow. In what quadrant is the point -4, 4 located? So here are your answer choices. Go ahead and decide which quadrant you think that's located in. And then I'm going to have you stop here. So all we did today was part 1 and part 2. Okay. Tomorrow in class we're going to discuss part 3 because it is a little bit more challenging. But when you have all your got-its down and your notes are filled out, you are done with your homework tonight.